Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw that ES balanced at 65.5 to 67.5 and then started breaking out to the upside, still trading within Friday's range. Bigger picture, ES as well as the other equity markets are trading near some important support, and that's why we're seeing some buying activity off that 65.5. We saw it Friday afternoon as well as in the overnight session. So heading into the open, we have pre-market resistance at 76.5 to 77.75, followed by the initial resistance zone at 80 to 82. Now 80 to 82 is the larger balance area low that we broke on Friday, which resulted in the strong liquidation down to 65.5, and that's a zone that has potential to get tested again on the day time frame today, and we could see sellers active at 80 to 82. On the downside, because the markets are hitting some larger time frame support, the downside could be limited to the 60 to 62 initial support zone, and responsive buyers can be active at that area for a move back up into Friday's range. So right now the expectation is for a two-sided market, but we have to keep in mind that on the upside, these resistance zones, they can provide rotation, but if there is a lot of momentum heading into the zone, so let's say tick is holding above zero and we're getting just a lot of strong tick readings to the upside, then we may not get any decent reaction until the 80 to 82 initial resistance, and the buying does not necessarily have to shut off at the initial resistance zone. The market can actually test even some of the higher prices, and then we still get sell responses at every zone on the way up. So 84 quarter to 85 quarter is still an area that can be tested and rejected. Above it, 87 quarter, and then finally, the strong resistance area at this point is 90 half to 92 half. Now we would have to see a lot of strength in the market and a lot of upside momentum in order to get all the way back up to 90 half to 92 half. So that zone is not quite in play at the moment, but if there is sustained momentum and if there is a lot of strength to the upside, then it is a possibility. It's unlikely because there isn't any major econ report today that can really serve as a catalyst for a big reversal. But we have to understand that because the market tested some pretty decent support on Friday, we can get a decent bounce as well. Doesn't mean we have to go all the way back up to 90 half to 92 half, but 80 to 82, 84 quarter, 85 quarter, those are zones that have potential to be tested on the day time frame. And then we can simply start balancing within a range, come back down to fill the gap, perhaps retest 65 half to 67 half. At that point, it would be a third or fourth test of that zone. So pre-market support zone at this point is probably not going to hold if we go back down there. But buyers can still be active at 2060 to 62. That's still a pretty decent area of support on the larger time frames, and we could see a rejection over there for a move back up into Friday's range. So the overall expectation today is for a two-sided market, but we just have to be careful with the momentum we see on the day time frame because the market doesn't necessarily have to fail at 76 half to 77.75. We could actually head higher and then get a better sell response or a better rejection. So I think that's going to be the challenge for today is, even though there was such a strong liquidation move on Friday, we may not see that same level of aggressive selling on the day time frame today. So, we may have to head a little bit higher in order to attract sellers back into this market. And on the downside, 60 to 62 has potential to cap the downside, to shut off the selling. So that is a potential spot where ES can reverse. If we break below 60, these support zones below can still attract buyers, but we'll just have to be a little more cautious below 2060. So, even though we have support at 57 to 58 half, if we've already balanced ahead of it, and if we're slicing through 2060, then we'll probably have to wait until 53 to 54 half or 48 to 50 in order to expect some better buy responses off those zones. So that is the context heading into the open. We're seeing some decent buying across the board. I still expect sellers to step in just at the key resistance zones along the way. And again, 76.5 to 77.75, that's the first area of resistance, but the buying does not have to shut off there. We could go higher, test 80 to 82, perhaps get a rejection or failure there, or even test 84 quarter to 85 quarter, and then get a better sell response at that area. I think a good strategy today will also be to keep an eye on the other markets, and as the other markets are hitting resistance, and if ES also happens to be at resistance, I think that'll provide a higher probability short. So for example, if you're keeping an eye on the Nasdaq, we have resistance around 44.22, which is a key swing high from Friday's session, and then 44.25 is resistance. So that entire zone, 44.21 to 44.25 is decent resistance in NQ, and in the Russell, the 1224 to 1225 area is an area of resistance. And again, if all these markets hit resistance at the same time, it just improves the odds of getting a sell response. So those are our main thoughts heading into the open. Let's see, where the sellers step in today, and we'll take it from there.